Hey Jaden, I wanted to leave you some feedback on your rough draft, your week 2 writing assignment. So I think that you are writing about some interesting ideas in this essay. I think that your response is a really good example of what I talked about in class this week, and that is that you have a lot of like really good working ideas, but there's not yet a clear narrative, right? A clear beginning, middle, and end. So what I want you to do this week is start thinking about your arc, right? So really honing in on the specific story that you want to tell. So I don't know. You could possibly tell a couple stories here, right? You briefly mention that you felt like, yeah, here it is, that you felt like you struggled with classwork in school, and that's something that you don't want for your own children. So perhaps that is a story that you can tell. Like, can you pinpoint what the struggle was? Can you pinpoint how you turned it around? And therefore, what do you want to do next, right? Now that you're in college, because clearly, you were able to turn it around, because you wouldn't be here at Missouri Southern, right? If you couldn't be successful. So I think that is potentially a good story to tell. But with all of your writing you're doing so far, you're doing a lot of summary and, like I said, like individual paragraphs, but we don't quite yet have that narrative arc. So I think the two things that I want you to work on is that first, that one, what story do you want to tell, right? So we have to have a what happened from our characteristic features list. And you heard my feedback on that. If that's not the story that you want to tell, that's perfectly acceptable. But you want to think about what is the story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. And then next, make sure that you situate this in place, right? So remember, the first part of my directions for essay 1 is to describe a place in rich detail. So you're writing about the value of school, you're writing about family, and those are good values to discuss. So one of the things that you might consider doing is writing about place, so capturing it, right? Capturing it with those descriptive details, but also letting the reader know how you came to understand those values through place, right? That's one of the things that we want to do. So how did place perhaps shape your view of education? How did place perhaps shape your view of family and make you hopeful for your personal and your professional future, right? Those are some things that you could potentially write about in this draft. So I'm looking forward to seeing where you go next. And like I said, this week, start thinking about that narrative arc, right? What's going to be your beginning, middle, and end? What's going to be your moment of change? And how can you use descriptive details to really capture that for the reader? All right. I look forward to seeing what you do next.